Hey, I'm a solid week into postpartum, and I wanted to talk about what things am I doing for my physical body right now. And one of the big things to talk about is that I have not bled in 2 days, which is crazy to think about. The things that I attribute that to is this little one being such a champion nurser. So he's breastfeeding, he's at the breast every 2 hours, which that oxytocin is going to help shrink the uterus. Some fundal massage to the top of that uterus I've been massaging, and then resting. So I've been on the bed here or in the rocking chair in front of me or on the couch out in my living room most of the time, even though I have my 3 other children beyond the baby here. On some of these days all by myself, I'm still on the couch. I'm just prepping their stuff ahead of time. And then I go and sit down and I'm there for hours. And then I go and prep them something and then I sit back down. I'm not the one doing the dinners. I'm not the one doing laundry. I am just chilling with the baby, because beyond just the resting part of it for the physical body, for the bonding part, like just getting to hold him and smell him and look into his eyes and just have him connect with me has really made my bond with him at like one weekend just be like, oh my gosh, how did I ever not know you? So the rest is so important. And the stuff that I'm bringing in here and talking about is just the additional stuff you can do if you feel ready for it. So we talked in this whole past week about working on that breath, that foundational breath, massaging the abs. And even if you have belly birth, you can massage up here, getting into those areas and massage the uterus lightly. All this has been gentle. The activation, starting to get these muscles to wake up, to get our brain to connect to them has really been really important, both the pelvic floor and the abdominal wall. The glutes starting to engage, which is what I've been working on a little bit more the past couple days, starting to get the abdominal wall to work in more functional movement. So as opposed to just activating and telling them like, hey, you exist, now I'm getting them to be a little bit more a part of the party and do functional movements. I'm still doing all of the mobility stuff, so of my neck and just opening up, and that's throughout the day. I get up to go do something, I'm opening, I'm moving, I'm just getting some movement of my body. A lot of times people hear rest and they think just sit there. And that actually creates a lot of pain for me. When I'm on the couch, I'm like, oh, my sacrum once I get up. So I need to get down and do some pelvic tilts and some activations of my glutes, because that's gonna make me feel better. So all the stuff that we've done in the past, still valid. There's some things that I talked about yesterday that I wanna review again, that I've added in more of and talked more on. One is that side bridge. So coming into a position where my shoulder is above my elbow and I'm driving my hips up and forward. So you can do a full one where you come really high up in a nice straight line. The obliques are really working, but it's fine just to do a little 1 inch off the bed or off the ground. I've been doing the ground, but for video's sake, I'm doing in the bed right now and just doing these side bridges. And why that's important is because I'm lying in bed at night. Like I need to get up. I need to use my obliques. And so it's important to be training things that you're going to be using. And by training, I don't mean that you're working out really, really hard. I mean, you're just getting those muscles to engage in a nice way. So if you're having a hard time with it, one thing to consider is that pelvic floor lift and that lower belly lift as you come up. So they're actually intentionally, you're telling them to engage. So that's going to be obliques, but also those glutes. I've been working on adding in more glute bridges. I'm not going to do any squatting or anything like that. So for the glutes, one of the best things I can do is anti-gravity coming up. And now I'm in a nice straight line. Whereas when I first started, I was just doing butt squeezes and an inch off. And now I'm into a position where I can come into this nice straight line into where that glute bridge position will be. Now, something that's great for the pelvic floor is it's offloaded in this position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale. And as I drive up, I'm going to think of that pelvic floor lifting and that lower belly lifting. Because now I'm in an anti-gravity position. It's going to be easier for my pelvic floor to engage without having all those organs pressing down on it and being heavy. And then I'm going to slowly lower. Same thing. Inhale. Exhale. You can make it harder by slowing the tempo down. So as opposed to going up and down, you can go up 3, hold 3, down 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is going to help with any discomfort in your sacrum or low back, because now you're starting to get those muscles to engage. So that's more for the glutes. What you can do next is something I showed yesterday as well, is bring your legs up to 90-90 and just take some deep breaths here. You'll find that your muscles are really engaged in this position and it's hard to do. So with your legs at 90-90, it's not easy to take those breaths, because what you're not doing is you're not holding those abs and then holding it here. You have to breathe. So you actually have to let them go and then bring them back in. I'm doing this in addition to a few heel drops. And what my breath pattern is for this is I inhale down, exhale, I'm engaging pelvic floor and lower abdominal wall. So those are some things that I demonstrated yesterday that I'm continuing on, because that's going to be including my abdominal wall, my pelvic floor, and then some of them my glutes. One that I'm adding today, I call heels to knees. It's kind of hard to see me here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale here, exhale, I'm going to engage my pelvic floor and my lower abdominal wall on the rise. So I'm going to inhale here, exhale. I'm going to go from the side, because what's nice about this is it's the abdominal wall and pelvic floor and the glutes. So inhale, exhale. We don't need to overly activate and go into extension, just a nice, gentle glute engagement. So what's nice about adding this in is now I'm coming off of just the laying down position movements, and I'm starting to load my core just a little bit more, but in a really gentle way. And if you think about it, it's actually harder to go from here and stand up from the toilet than it is to do that. So all these movements that I'm adding in are not meant to be a workout. They're just a couple times a day. If you can tune into a few of these, it's going to be helpful. But all of them are functional. They're all things that are going to help you get out of a chair, get out of bed, get off of the toilet, go reach and pick up your baby. So these, again, are foundational, which will help us as we add on to getting into movements that we love doing. But they are right now designed to be more recovery, so that we can easily get out of these positions, so it doesn't hurt to roll out of bed. It doesn't hurt in the middle of the night to go grab our baby. So that's where we're including these movements. So continuing mobility stuff, continuing activations, working more on the glutes and working more on the core is where we're at right now. But this is for my body and where I'm at. So this might be where you're at week 2 or 3. The reason I'm here right now is because of how I'm feeling my core is coming together, how it feels when I activate, how connected I feel. It's also based off of how I'm feeling, like physically, and my fatigue, and I'm not feeling tired. He's been doing a really great job at night with me. And then the other really big factor is that I am not bleeding. So I've stopped bleeding, and as I've added in a few things, I haven't started bleeding or anything has changed. So if you have found you're starting to slow down and you're bleeding, you add in things and you start bleeding more, it's probably time to scale that back a little bit. So a reminder to you as well that I'm still resting. So even though you hear me talking about this stuff, all of this is less than how long it took me to do this video. So it's only a few moments, like 30 seconds of glute bridges, or I'm going to take 2 minutes and do some mobility for my mid back, or maybe I take 5 minutes and I'm just on the ground stretching, doing that dead bug movement, some glute bridges, and then I'm back on the couch. So it's not that I'm spending 20 minutes working on this. It's scattered throughout the day. And I think it's really important to know that this isn't just like a 20-minute thing. It's scattering small, digestible chunks of movement to get your body to feel better.